It's all about art, all about art, all about art. With David Green, Tom Galvin, and Joe Moore.
Wow. How about that timing? We've really got it down now.
Yes.
Coming on at just the exact moment when we go live. Very exciting.
Yes.
Good to see everybody.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good to see you too.
Happy
Yes,
Sunday
you
to you and everybody out there watching us today.
Just
great
wanna
show
say
planned, and
we had a great time at your house a couple weeks ago for the celebration of the cast party for Songs for a New World, David. It was a great time.
yeah,
and
great show.
Yeah, great show. We have a guest that's today that was part of that show, and so and Joe, I've been seeing your happenings around town. You guys you made the paper a month or so ago because
I
you
know.
were one of the first bands to get out there and play live.
I'm wearing my Cadillac Ride shirt today. Can you see the
Oh,
Cadillac?
oh,
I got
thank
Cadillac
you.
all over it here. There's a big one with the fins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're going to be coming out the 22nd of May at Sopatage. We're going back out. It is a little unfortunate, though. One of our members is ill and out at UC Davis. Rick McFall, our bass player.
I wanted to give a shout out about that because I saw his Facebook post that he's very open, brave, and courageous, and good spirited about having a pretty serious battle with cancer right now. And,
and we're gonna of course reach out because Rick is he's a huge linchpin of the music community here over in Yuba County and stuff. He has been in so many bands, and he attends regularly those jams, and is like the bass player for several different jams. So we're going to reach out to them, his people and our people, and see about having a really good fundraiser. You know, lots of music, lots of fun, some food, and see if we can help him and Teresa out. So
sweet guy and fine musician, and got a lot of music left to play, I think. So maybe we can get Rick on the show because I'm sure he'll be doing something up and coming. He'll be back in the music game. Is our hope and our prayer for Rick. And when he is, let's get him on and talk about him.
Yeah, we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him. Tom, not talk about him.
I say talk about him. Well, at least when you're talking about him in front of him instead of behind his back. But no, Rick's a sweet guy, and we wish him the best.
Yes,
please give him our best, Joe.
Thank you. Hey, Tom, what did you do this weekend? Weren't you a little busy yourself?
Well. Yeah, I did a recording with a friend that was the recording was pretty rough because of limited stuff when we were across. He was in Southern Cal, I was in Northern Cal, and we had political differences, strong political differences, and but our friendship, we're thinking it should be stronger than our political perspectives, and we did a song to speak to that, to speak about when we're so polarized politically. Are there bridges we can find with people that we can do other things with besides talk about politics or get angry about politics? And I'm thinking about service clubs, or I'm thinking about just playing music together, or just ways that we connect where politics is set aside. I know very crucial time in our country, and sides are being drawn, lines are being drawn, and before it gets really nastier, people of goodwill, I think, have to just kind of try to reach out and not necessarily try to convince the other people about their politics, but just have a good time, or just share something, or share music and humanize each other. That was the gist of the song. So that's
at a minimum, be polite.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
What was the title of the song, Tom?
The Great Divide.
The Great Divide.
The Great Divide.
Yeah, and we might someday give it a better recording, a better shot. And he was a lead singer of a band I was in back in Ohio years ago. We've gone our separate ways, and we just reconnected on this project. So
did you co-write it? I mean, did you share writing?
Yeah, we share writing. And that was a little bit of a trick to keep our politics out of the song, but
especially a song like that. I mean, it almost calls for you to state your opinion.
So. Yeah, and I think we both in a gentlemanly way, avoided doing that. And so,
Good
yeah.
job.
Let's make a
Some
video.
people,
I can't wait to see the video.
well, we'll see. Some people from his side of the aisle and some people from mine think that we had no business even talking to each other or validating each other, or,
Please.
and we are very, very polarized. But we're not here to. I just think we have to try. Communicating is important because we're headed for another civil war here in this country if we don't start talking. And I hate to be corny, Beatleish or whatever, but we need a little bit more love in this country across boundaries, and try to find what's lovable in each other instead of what's hateable. So
there you go, straight from the mouth of America's therapist, Tom Galvin.
America's therapist. I think that's Dr. Laura. I wouldn't go to her myself, but my friend
thank you.
my co-songwriter would go to her. Anyway, we got some weird news, and I think, David, I thought this was the 100th. I thought this was the 100th today of weird news. It's the 116th, and that's rough.
Really?
I'm just kind of calculating from like putting a year together with 52 weeks, and then when you cut it down to every other week.
Weird news itself has kind of gone through some changes, so it might be the incarnation it is now. That it's 100.
It's just my lesson has been when artists are involved, the potential for weirdness is always there.
You have proven that time and time again. You have an untapped wealth of resources here that just stuns me every week.
I thought it was Tom himself that had proven that weird stuff happens all the time.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were saying too, and I accept that as a reality. Anyway, should we kick into the weird news this week?
Oh yes.
Okay, here it is. Alex has got all the stuff up there to kind of give you a visual guide.
Introductory credits here.
Yes. There's our friend Gary.
Wow.
Now it's just so much fun. Anyway, weird news. This week's title: Forget it, kid. Go back home to Peoria. Frank Sinatra famously sang, "Some people get their kicks stomping on a dream." I'm off to a good start. Should I sing it? Some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. Here's some examples of discouraging words that fortunately did not stop some performers from making their dreams come true. For instance, when Sidney Poitier auditioned for his first role for a play in a theater where he ultimately launched his career, the director asked, "Why are you wasting everybody's time? Why don't you just go off and get a job as a dishwasher or something?" Sidney went on to a 50-year career of successful movie making and won an Oscar award. And so if there are dishes piled up anywhere in the country, Sidney is not responsible for that.
Not his fault.
In the 1960s, Burt Reynolds and his good friend Clint Eastwood were fired on the same day. Eastwood was terminated. Get this. Eastwood was terminated because of his looks. He was told his Adam's apple was too big, stuck out too much. He spoke too slowly, and he had to get a chipped tooth fixed. And so when Burt Reynolds said, "Well, why was I fired?" They said, "Well, you can't act." So the two are walking back to Clint's truck, and Burt says, "Boy, you're in a hell of a lot of trouble. And eventually, in time, I'll learn to act, but you're always going to be stuck with that Adam's apple." So. Many people in Hollywood, according to Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the way, notice how I pronounce the name Schwarzenegger, because that's going to be important a few sentences from now. Anyway, most people in Hollywood. Yeah, I'm sorry to be not addressing the audience visually, because I am reading this script, and when I turn the lights down so I don't look as white as I do, which is impossible not to get. Anyway.
Wait, this segue was not in the script you said.
It wasn't in the script, so I'm going off script to justify and to apologize for myself and for the many things I've done. Anyway, most people in Hollywood, according to Arnold Schwarzenegger, told him that his hopes of transitioning from bodybuilder to actor was a pipe dream because he had 3 strikes against him. Joe, would you like to mention one? Do you have your script there?
Oh, do I have my script? Yes, his unintelligible accent.
His unintelligible accent, his overdeveloped body, and his unpronounceable last name. So those things obviously did not hold him back. Oddly, those things enhanced his career. What should have held him back, and what the critics really never mention, is he's such a lousy actor. When Boy George, I think this is really, I'd like to know who this counselor was, but Boy George told his career counselor that he wanted to become a musician. The counselor laughed in his face and told him to get a job in a factory. And Boy George went out and got a job in a factory. He worked in an apple factory for 5 weeks. He didn't like it, so he became a famous musician. Finally, oh, well, wait a minute. We can't forget Fred Astaire. Many of us know, I knew about this before researching this. Well, my crack team of researchers researched it, but I knew this. It's somewhat famous lore. Many of us know, I'm sorry, Fred Astaire made, when he was auditioning his first screen test, he was being evaluated by a screen tester, a screen test director. And the evaluator wrote in his notes, quote, can't act, can't sing, balding, can dance a little. No one has heard of the evaluator since. In his 8th grade music class, Elvis earned a C-, and his teacher advised him that he had no aptitude for music. The summary song this week is called, What Do You Mean You Quit Your Day Job? Are You Nuts? What do you know? What do you think? Do I have some talent or do I stink? It's okay, whatever you say, I'm not gonna listen anyway. If Sidney had listened, where would he be? Still washing dishes and the man's 93. If Elvis had listened to what his teacher said, well, it really doesn't matter because, Elvis is dead. If Boy George had listened, where would he be? Working in an apple factory. And speaking of apples, Clint felt like a heck. He felt like... Well, I'm going to just take this right there from the middle of this verse. Speaking of apples, Clint felt like heck. With that big apple's Adam sticking out of his neck. Don't give up and get a day job and be unhappy and turn into a slob. You might be balding, but don't despair. You're destined to be the next Fred Astaire.
Yeah, all right. Yes.
A few stumbles there. Weird News 116, number 116 in the annals. The
What a milestone. What a milestone.
Weird News.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
So
All right,
fun.
moving on.
So fun.
We've got
What's
weird
next?
news. We've got real news, real art news coming up, and we have wonderful guests today.
Yes.
Who wants to talk about that? Who wants to take it from me now? Because
Jump
definitely should.
Jump over to our guests and then.
Yeah. They're
Let's
part of
do
our
it.
news.
All right. Join us in welcoming co-directors of
And poof, here they are.
virtual production at the Acting Company, Matt DeMeritt and Aaron Watkins. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yes, welcome.
Great to see you.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
Appreciate
being with us, Matt and Aaron. Thanks so much for joining us today. Matt, you've been with us before, and Aaron, you too. Have we? We've had Aaron on before in the show.
You have not, actually.
Well, that's
The
been
first
our
timer.
mistake.
It's all right. Doesn't hurt
Yeah.
for long afterwards, but it's
We're gentle.
yeah, we are. So good to see you guys,
It's good to see you guys.
and great to see
Thanks for having us. We've been busy.
With
stuff
what?
going on
That's
at the
what we-
Acting Company. So just so exciting that you put this show together. I know Jeff Graham is doing the youth theater program classes again, and yeah, but talk to us about the impetus for your production of Puffs. How did it all get started? And
Yeah, I think Matt and I had been kind of talking about just the lack of theater. We had this space in the Acting Company that has been sitting idle for a while, and trying to figure out with COVID and restrictions and keeping people 6 feet apart, and how we could produce art in the space, and at the same time, really looking for something that would engage a younger kind of, probably teenage, college age audience that, some of the plays that we've done recently, or not recently, it's been a year, at the Acting Company haven't really addressed. And so I had seen Puffs on a Broadway HD, just by whim. I've always been a big Harry Potter fan, and I threw it over to Matt and said, hey, I've got an idea. It's a little unusual in terms of how we're going to produce this, but what do you think? And so, Matt, having much more directing experience than I do, I was a little concerned, and the acting company does have a process for directing, which I have not gone through. So I was very happy to have someone who has a lot more experience behind his belt to back me up on that.
Yeah, I think
Tell
Aaron's
us
being a
about
little humble on that. Aaron's an intense idea guy. He comes up with some pretty crazy stuff, and just wants to make it happen. The thing that they did, the haunting at Bogue Manor and stuff like that, he just kind of pushes stuff through, and it's awesome. So I'm following his energetic lead right now.
I try not to step on any toes as I go, but I can't make any promises. So so the interesting thing about Puffs and what we're doing in order to make it COVID safe is that it is as much a film as it is a play. So we spoke with Concord Theatricals and said, hey, we've got an idea. We know that typically when you give rights out, you specifically say no editing. If you're going to stream it, it's just put a camera in front of a live show, and they'll have some rules behind it. And I said, well, we can't have a live show because of COVID, but what if we threw some green screens up, filmed everybody individually, and then edited this all together, kind of very similar to actually what you're looking at now, right? Which is a Zoom style production where, in any given window, we might have 1, 2, 3 actors that are separated by distance. And, but at times there are 10, 11 people in a scene. And so we'll throw up various different frameworks. And, if you're looking at this right now, right, you've got 3 on top and 2 on bottom. We have 27 different frameworks in the play, where we have different arrangements of actors, and everything from full screen, where it's, a couple people sharing one stage just like you normally would, 50-50s, where you've got a couple people on one side, a couple people on the other side. Again, these people are being filmed on green screen. A lot of times what happens is we'll have the other actors in the theater so that they can respond to the verbal cues, but then we'll have to switch them out and then record the other group separately and do everything kind of to put them together in post.
So I've got a question for you. As far as I know, this was one of the first major things besides the haunting of Bow Road that the acting company did, and you put out auditions. So what was the response to that?
Between putting out the call for auditions, and so this was video audition, right? We asked everyone to record themselves on video. We actually had a better response than I thought we would. I think there's a decent amount of people who are clamoring to get back out there and do some art. And so I was super impressed with the quality of the people we got. I am crazy happy with the cast that we have. We have some real talent, mostly between the ages of 12, 13, and maybe 25 is the majority of our cast. So the original off-Broadway version of Puffs, which if people don't know, is a parody of a certain school of witchcraft and wizardry, which we probably can't say. So, but rhymes with scary otter. So the original off-Broadway cast only had 10 people. However, there are about 50 characters. So each of those 10 characters, or each of those 10 actors and actresses played 4, 5, 6 different people. A lot of quick changes, a lot of kind of fun doubling up. Well, one of the things that I've seen and figured out, pretty quickly in the couple of years of doing community theater is the bigger the cast, the more tickets you sell, because you have moms and dads and aunts and uncles and everybody in the cast. And so we ended up taking those 10 roles and actually splitting them out to have a much larger cast than we initially would.
I love the way you've invited community leaders to come in and do a cameo. And I think, to your point, that'll certainly help with promotion. We've done a couple of those with our night before Christmas readings and our April poetry readings, where they responded to our call, and so you get county supervisors and councilmen and business leaders and others to be part of the show like you've done, and that's brilliant. So kudos for that.
Yeah, we have Yuba City Mayor Mark Boomgarden, Vice Mayor of Marysville. We've got 2 county supervisors, including Carm Baines and Gary Bradford. We've got pastors of local churches. We've got a couple one superintendent, owner of Stevens Farmhouse.
Right.
So really, it's kind of cool to bring these people in. I didn't get a single person who said no. And we reached out to some pretty busy people. So it was really nice to see the support of the arts in the community. And everyone seems to be having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we softened them up for you. Carm and Gary are both on our board of directors. So, yeah, good for you for.
Which is funny, because I didn't know that, and those were the 2 that I reached out to.
I know. Good call.
I wanted to ask Matt. Aaron presented you with this idea. Is that correct, Matt? And so
yeah, definitely. Actually,
it sounds labor intensive. It sounds complex and arduous and fun, but a lot of work. Did you expect what you got after you signed on to this? Has it been more than you thought it would be, or less, or what was your response to all the stuff that Aaron's talking about?
I think that's a good question. I think Aaron and I have both done enough artistic stuff over the years and also done enough technological stuff, with the filming and audio and whatnot, that we knew we were biting off a lot with this production, particularly the way that we kind of conceptualized it coming to fruition. I think, I told Aaron about 3 months ago, I said, I'm not a co-director guy. Because when I get into gear, I kind of have a tendency to get my eyes on the prize and, this is how it's got to be. And, directors, we've got sort of that mentality of it has to be the way I think it has to be. There is no way that someone could do a show like what we're doing solo, a single director gig. And so having a partner, and really this has actually been sort of a trio. We should also talk about Bill Butchner, who has come alongside us. Yeah. So Bill is the stage manager / props / really a third director. The guy is just amazing. He's been such an awesome addition to our little trio here. And between the 3 of us,
and a fine actor in his own right. I just want
Bill and I have shared the stage a couple times.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to
taken on. Oh no, absolutely. He's actually taken on a role or 2 in the show. As we've had some flux in our cameo roles that Aaron was talking about a second ago, as schedules have changed. So Bill's playing one of the roles in there now. And so between the 3 of us, it's definitely been a lot of work, but it's split out really nicely. Working with these 2 guys, it's been really cool to see how everyone just sort of finds their lane and does what they need to do to bring the thing to fruition. My background is really in live theater. And so, I feel like, during the process of the rehearsals, getting the show together, that was kind of where I was, maybe taking the lead a little bit. And then, Aaron has been really processing what we call maybe a director of photography role here. And he's stepping into the lead now with the shooting. And, Bill has, been kind of touching bases here and there. It's been a big gig. I have been surprised, and it's been a kind of a process getting it to come together time-wise as well. Because unlike a typical show, it's not just, hey, we're just going to rehearse for 6 weeks, we're going to put the show on. There's been, hurdles here and there, different things that have come up. So it has been a lot, but it's been a really amazing learning experience. And I'm glad that we took the opportunity to attempt it during this very unique time. I think we all hope that we'll never experience a time like this theatrically again. And yet, I think it was worthwhile for us all to experience what it was like to create theater under these types of restrictions and learn how to be innovative, because I think it's going to impact what we do in the future.
Yes.
Were you working on Puffs concurrently with working on Songs for a New World, or did you just jump off Songs for a New World and hop right onto Puffs?
It had, I talked about how there were a little bit of delays and stuff like that. They were supposed to kind of happen one after the other. They ended up happening kind of like that. Like Songs for a New World rehearsals happened pretty intensely during January and February. And then as soon as we shot, literally the Monday after we went into the studio and shot Songs for a New World, we started our rehearsals for Puffs. But of course, there was the audition process and all that. So it definitely, there are certain members of my immediate family who are ready for me to be done with doing shows.
I was wondering.
Take the summer off.
Yeah, my lovely wife, Crystal, is so patient with my involvement in the arts and has been for almost 20 years now. But she told me the other day, it might be time to take a little bit of a break for the summer, and then we can hit it hard maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Just so I'm clear, it's going to be video recorded, so that when you sign up for 3 different showings that will be available. Do I have that right? That depending on the time.
I think we have 8 showings.
Oh, it's 8. Okay,
Yeah.
So a couple of weekends or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is great. So that helps accommodate folks' schedules.
We're pretty confident that the people who watch the first couple of nights are going to tell their friends.
Yeah, word of mouth. That's always a good thing. So
that's the acting company's credo. That's how it works over there, believe it or not.
Yeah.
There's always the advance guard that comes in and watches opening weekend, and if they like it, then you have a successful show. So that's the people you shoot for.
We did 3 rounds of Songs for a New World that YubaSutterArts&Culture produced, and then so you'll have 8. And it's interesting because all of us chose to video record those productions. I don't know if any of you saw James Gilbert's production of the Laramie Project at Yuba College with the students. They did 3 or 4 shows. I saw the Saturday night performance, and they did it live like this. So, and it's a pretty good sized cast, and incredible story about Matthew Shepard. But and that was kind of another kind of variation on a theme. So it's still virtual, but you're basically watching a live virtual performance. It was pretty.
Is that still accessible, bold. David? Is that still accessible?
The live productions are not. I don't know if they recorded them and put them up on YouTube or not, but powerful material. But it was kind of neat seeing what we're kind of used to with the pre-recorded stuff, but actually done as a live performance delivered Zoom style. So
I was wondering, getting back to Puffs, about cast members, and are there kind of lead performances and superluminaries? Are they everybody have equal shares? Are there standout performers you want to throw some light on? And anything you can tell us about the cast, either of you?
We have got a really, so as Aaron mentioned, we've got a solid cast. There's really a dynamic group, but Puffs sort of mirrors the original source work. The what did you say, Scary Otter?
Yes.
I think in this venue we can say, the J.K. Rowling books. It sort of mirrors that in that there are, 2 male characters and a female character who have that same sort of dynamic trio in this show. The names of the characters are Oliver, Wayne, and Megan, and they are played by a group of high school students. These are freshmen through seniors. 2 of them are from MCAA, Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts, Micah Anderson and Grayson Hayes. And then And Aaron, you're going to have to help me here because I always want to call the third one by her character name. It's Michaela McIsaac. Yeah, Michaela McIsaac, who is a Yuba City High School student. And the three of them are definitely, they carry a heavy load of on-stage time. And, I've been in every rehearsal and I'll be there for every day of shooting. But what's been really cool with that is watching that, that youth focus that Aaron mentioned. These are some really, really solid actors. And I've been so pleased to see their professionalism, especially, coming from the classroom with a couple of them and coming into the rehearsal hall with, some adults and some fellow community members and stuff like that. And just the way that they're given all, knowing the heavy load that they're under, for Micah in particular, being a senior, getting ready to graduate,
We lost a little bit of your audio just at the end, Matt, but we got the gist of what you were saying about the regulars coming to all to all the practice. And it's okay. So delightful kids to work with.
Yeah.
Except for the occasional troublemaker that
Well, this is actually kind of a conjoining of history, because in our community, MCAA and the acting company have been responsible for just a string of talented youth coming through, learning their chops, and then moving on. I mean, we have people that are actually working in New York on Broadway and off Broadway. They came here. They came through MCAA or worked on the stage of the acting company. So bravo, you guys, for keeping this going.
Thank you. I also have to shout out to Haley Dykes, who's essentially the fourth lead in our narrator. She's in, essentially every scene. The original play had the narrator as a male role, but gave the option for it to be a female role, and she just stood out in auditions and really just solid performer. Mid-20s, I think, and just really kind of sets the tone for each scene as we go through and pulls people together.
Are the actors all learning their lines or using cue cards?
They are learning their lines.
Darn straight.
And if any of them are wrong, then they better have them learned by Monday.
All right. So you're doing it.
You said cue cards. How dare you, Dave?
Yeah.
Cue cards.
We don't have virtual aids. I mean, I just stumbled through my whole bit here using cue cards. I couldn't see the words. I made the room so dark I couldn't read my own script. But
no judgment either way. I just was.
I'm with Joe. I don't think you should have asked the question, David. I'm shaming you for that.
I think it's reasonable.
Your co-actress there, Matt,
because
Janet Fry, is listening. She's watching. So, David, she's coming for you. You know how she is.
I'll see you next week, guys.
I think it's a reasonable question. Because
it's a whole different process. I mean, the whole world, it's different.
And David's never asked an unreasonable question. I just want to throw that in because.
I'll think of one.
Actors know, and like Tom mentioned, reading off a cue card and acting at the same time is a lot more difficult than knowing your lines and delivering them. So that would be something that might actually want to teach the kids, is how to do that. So
and even our VIP kind of cameos, we haven't given them very many lines, but they are all learning their lines, and we're giving them a few acting tips as they come in and rehearse with us for a little bit beforehand. But it's an interesting show because, unlike theater, we've never run the whole show all at once. I think the most we've ever gotten through is close to half in one sitting. And often, in fact, as we go into shooting next week, we are jumping around all over the place to get our shots done, because for the shooting process, it's much more about what frame we're in, who's in the scene. So if we have the camera set up to do 3 columns, right? Well, then we're going to try to get all of our 3-column shots done in one night, so we don't have to rearrange our technology setup too many times during one sitting, because that's a bit of time to do.
What about stage?
several versions of the script. Are you doing the full on, or one of the junior versions, 2-hour running time, or 1 hour? What do you think the running time will be?
90-ish minutes.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah, as best you can tell now.
there's a line in the play about it being 90-ish minutes.
Oh, really? Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
We would say it is a blend of the off-Broadway version, which is the 90-ish minutes version,
Okay.
and the young adults version. You know, with the number of swear words has been reduced slightly.
Oh, good.
What about a stage crew? Was there any scenery constructed? Was there any of the normal
That's
stuff
Bill.
that goes on behind the scenes, or was it all just none of that happened?
We have props.
Props. Bill Butchner has been putting on his Facebook page the props he's been building, and I have just been enjoying it because prop building is an art in its own self. It's like, how do I make that? So it's been very.
We have Dementors, which are, if anyone who went to the haunting, are the two statues that were in the graveyard that Bill built for the haunting,
Yes.
are now Dementors in the play. He's made wands for all the cast members. He has made the Tri-Wizard Cup that has fire coming out of it. He's made a sorting hat that talks. Yeah, so he's really been quite amazing through all of this, and just is such a creative guy and has so much talent.
Multi-talented.
Yes, for sure.
We all love Bill. He hoisted me up in the air once. I mean, actually 12 times. Yeah.
Well, when I talked to him, he had said, you know, he had never gotten to be a stage manager for a TAC production, and had always wanted to do it. And so I'm like, well, this isn't a normal TAC production, but there's nobody else I would rather have. So
Yeah, he's. I'm glad he's part of the family. So.
Do you have future plans working with kids in theater? Is there a drawing board that you're starting to draw, or is that just let's get done with this and let that come up later on?
You know, I know on my end, and first of all, checking how's my connection. I've been dropping in and out. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me all right now?
Yeah.
Sounds real good. Everything's in
Okay.
sync. Yeah.
Cool. Sorry about that earlier.
Oh no, thanks. You're coming through good, man. You look good.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
excellent. Yeah.
You know, on my side of things, the reason I jumped so hard into the community work is because we've been going through the process of not being able to do work through the schools over the course of the year. You know, there's been a lot of restrictions. The board has had to make some decisions about what we can and cannot do digitally or in person and whatnot for Marysville Joint Unified. And so, you know, as we look in the coming year, I know there's going to be live productions through MCAA. But besides that, I think it's really important for me to maintain a connection with the community as a whole. You know, living in a small town like YubaSutter area, you know, I think it's great to be able to get connected in a lot of different places and engage with a lot of different artists, and hopefully provide connections for my students, you know, to be able to do things other than just focusing on high school or middle school or things like that, you know, sharing their gifts throughout the community. So
Good vision. Yeah, that's a good vision. I think that's, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wider connections, wider outlets, so you can create networks. That's a very proactive kind of involvement with your students and with the community. So good on you.
Yep. I'm all about that kind of stuff, man. Expose children to art.
Yeah.
As much as you can. All of it, every bit of it, all kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe is Sideshow Joe.
Kids are really what got me into theater, right? I've got 2 kids, and we moved to Yuba City 3.5 years ago. Didn't know anybody, and we're looking for something to do, and saw an audition, and you know, at that point, my daughter auditioned, and we've been in a vast majority of the productions at the acting company, or at least she's been in most of them.
Welcome to the acting company.
Right, even one that she wasn't in, that I ended up being in with my son Ethan, Buddy Holly. Yep. She ended up. Oh, yeah. My 12-year-old daughter was running the board.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Where'd you move from, Aaron?
Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, so the house that we bought here, which we lovingly refer to as Bogue Manor now, about 30 years ago, belonged to my wife's grandmother.
Oh, wow.
My wife was born in Yuba City, and so this was really buying a family property back, and
Yeah.
we've
Oh,
been restoring it ever since.
Oh, nice.
great story.
Good.
Oh, wow. So you got a strong connection here.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Keep it in the family.
Oh, yeah.
So talk
that's
about
great.
the, how are people going to be able to see the show? When's the world premiere, local premiere, so to speak? What are the dates? What are the costs?
Yep. So we should have ticket sales going up live or going up on the Acting Company website soon. We're just waiting for the ticket company to give us the codes that we need to put into the website.
Right.
Tickets are going to be $20 for individuals, so one person watching on a stream, or $40 for a family or multiple people watching on a stream. If you're an individual and you feel like donating, doing the $40, we're not going to say no. You know, if you're got 5 people in your family, you can only afford the $20, then pay the $20. You know, we're literally, this is a show done to raise money for the Acting Company, to support the arts in the area. You know, we just want to make some good art and get people involved again and kind of start to reboot after a year of COVID and restrictions that have been tough on a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I want to get this right, Aaron. If I buy a $20 ticket, those 93 invitations I sent out to several friends to come and join me, I shouldn't have done that. Is that
Probably not? But
Okay.
if you pass around the hat, you know, we can.
Okay.
Well, it is.
And then dates, Matt. The dates. Let's see. I'm because we've moved it, so it's
We have
now,
moved it a little bit. So I think we're looking at June the. I think it is the 11th. That's the June 11th will be, I think, opening night for this show. You know, we have been hesitant to put a real hard date on that, even up into the last week, just because we're entering into this big unknown of the filming process and how long that will possibly take, you know, knowing that the glitchiness out there and whatnot. So June 11th, we'll start streaming and we'll run for those 3 subsequent weekends.
So people have lots of opportunities to see it at a date and time that's convenient for them.
Yeah,
Are you doing a Sunday matinee, or?
It's not on demand, right? You can't just watch it whenever. You do have to watch it at the times. There are a couple matinee showings. The nice thing about this is we have people, family members on the East Coast, who will be able to watch matinees and not have to stay up too late. So
Nice.
So this is like one of the first major fundraisers you guys have done. Probably, I'd say, well, you did the Bogue Road and the Haunting, but this one is the first one that's kind of like, and you know what, Matt, I worked with your dad many years ago for the Way Out Broadway, and one day he told us all, he goes, never pass the chance to pass the hat. Okay, so this is a pass the hat moment, people. If you love your acting company, this is how you can help. Watch the show. And invite the 95 people, Tom, and pay for every one of them.
I plan to, Joe.
I mean, and I will say, like, if you are a fan of the original material, you're gonna love this. If you don't know the original material, it's still amazingly funny.
Good.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to this, gentlemen, and we just so much appreciate your coming on and talking to us about it. You're both movers and shakers in the artistic world around YubaSutter area, and just such talented guys. Matt, just getting to know you a little bit through my wife and through the Songs for a New World. Delight to see your work and to hear you sing. And Aaron, thanks very much for coming up with this idea and presenting it to Matt, because I think it's going to be a real nice gift to the community. So thank you.
Yeah, I
Thanks
look
for
forward
having
to
me.
meeting you in person, Aaron, someday and talking about some other possible collaborations down the road. So
Let's come up with something crazy.
Well, we would be glad to welcome you back whenever anything's going on that you want to share with us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
How fun. I didn't know
Yes.
this material at all. I've read about it, and I know there's some online productions, but I'm going to wait to see this production.
Yeah.
And
I've got a
And
lot
I
of
was in
Facebook
a
friends.
I was in a life and death struggle with a scary otter, and it was, David, you fish, so you know how some of these. Sometimes you do see these sea monsters, and
that's
no
right.
matter what they say, we both believe in them. And scary otters, they're nothing to find. You
What
don't
an
want to fool
image.
around with them.
I happen to love otters. They're one of my favorite mammals, but
Otters are cool. I like them too. I used to
they
look
got
at the
teeth.
otter.
They got like cat-like teeth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and claws.
yeah.
Particularly those
Yeah,
big
claws.
sea otters out by hanging out at Monterey or Cannery Row.
I am 2 weeks away from Monterey and Cannery
Oh.
Row. Cannot wait.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Lori and I are
Yeah.
taking a break. We're going to get out of
Good
town.
for you.
Us
The
too.
aquarium requires that you reserve a slot.
Oh, now are they really reservation only?
Hey, they're open.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
so
that's
excited
coming
about
back.
that. We
It's
haven't been
coming
in a
back.
couple years.
Traveling with family, and we don't need masks. We've been all injected and shot up with whatever they
You're
shot
here.
us up with, and it's really fun to think about that.
Yep.
And there is a third ear growing on the top behind my my right ear, but
I've got gills.
no, I'm just so pleased to have gotten the 2 shots and to have some freedom, and sometimes when I don't have to wear a mask, and it's all very nice.
I feel like Superman or something,
Yeah, feel like we're coming out of a real dark time in this country. I hope we can up the ante on what we're doing for third world countries in terms of inoculation and getting these shots to Africa and to other third world nations, South America. They're starving for the stuff, and
I agree.
but I think we've rounded a corner here. I hope.
Well, and for us though, I mean, what we just did to me is the crux. We are at the forefront of bringing the arts back, because we with the Sutter Theaters coming back online, and so we're going to have more opportunities to do more stuff, and that is just, and to have a whole year where basically we had the year off. We tried our art, but it was weird art. It wasn't the tasty art that we're used to. And now we're have the opportunity to get back to the meat of what we do, and I cannot wait.
Well, of course, weird art is not a problem for me. I kind of a.
It's your stock and trade.
But no,
so, yeah.
I know
You
exactly.
built a
what
whole
you mean.
nother career.
I did not mean to disparage your weird art. So
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
I appreciate it. And when are you going to be on my show? Speaking of stuff, what
You know what? You sent me the email. I was going to talk to you on the show, but I will. Let's make it work. Is that next Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon me?
Next
Yeah.
Saturday?
Next Saturday, if you could do it next Saturday, Joe, I would love it.
Yes, I think I
would
have
love
that.
it.
I think I have that one off. I do have. I've been doing the Dobbins Market with the ukuleles. They're coming up on June 5th. I love those girls. We should try and get them on here someday. They're just amazing.
Uh-huh.
But
We're talking
on
to
to
Deanna
perform.
Wiseman about putting together a ukulele show. So
Yes.
we're, once we've got the all clear from the state, then we'll start scheduling things like that. And I'd like to make it kind of a jam. Anybody that's got a ukulele that can bang out a tune or two.
Indeed, I've got 2, so I'll let Tom use one, and I'll use the other. So
we got lots of ideas.
Let's get
for
them
programs.
on. I just really like the idea of whenever we can have musicians on, especially virtually in their own homes or whatever,
Sure.
to have performances, have them
Okay.
do what they do.
Let me talk.
We
let me
did that
talk-
with your band. We did that with your bandmates.
Yes.
Remember when they were?
Yeah, when they came to the
Richard-
radio station.
Well,
Yeah,
now booking for July. So look at the calendar and see their availability. So
you bet.
Joe, I'm so honored you're going to be on the show next Saturday. Called
I'm
Spotlight-
excited. I will put it in my
Spotlight on
calendar.
Songwriters. I just so people know what I'm talking. David, I'm sure you're going to mention this again. Spotlight on Songwriters, and
that's right. That's
if
right.
you didn't hear that, what I said was Spotlight on Songwriters, and this week with a really good songwriter who also is going to share some of your stuff from your new CD. Is that from your new album of songs?
Yes.
Some of the children's stuff.
Some of the children's songs that are coming out on an album. And then there's also going to be working with David and Michelle Blake over the first 5, and we're going to try and put together a video. We're not going to try and put together a video.
We are going
to
put together a video. Let's use our action verbs.
Yes, sir.
I start with a song and I end with a song, and the 45 minutes in between is Joe Moye acting as if you were playing to an audience of hundreds at Carnegie Hall and just
That's my
repartee, talking
grandparents.
about the songs,
Yep.
talking about the background, covering people that inspired you. If you want to do some covers,
Yes.
it's going to be a good show. Thank you so much for doing that.
Of course. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Speaking about real versus virtual, we're actually having our first actual live in-person art gallery opening reception
All
this
right.
coming
Ooh.
Friday. Working with our good friend Glenn Husted, who's the head of the Fine Arts Department at Yuba College. He's got a student art show coming into the gallery this week. So this coming Friday, the 21st, from 5 to 7, come out and look at some great original artwork by students from Yuba College.
Good.
Ceramics, paintings, photography, the whole gamut. So it'll be a lot of fun just to be together with particularly young artists working toward advanced degrees. So, and Glenn's been a great partner. So,
David, let me get this right. The gallery is opening now for other events as well?
Well, this is the only one that's currently scheduled. This was special request from Glenn, and we're going to, of course, be asking people to wear masks, limited access. We'll open up the courtyard, and we've been remodeling. It's going to be a little tricky because we've got the paint crew in there doing some work. But the gallery will be cleaned up, and we'll have refreshments, and folks are invited to come out and go to a gallery opening this Friday, 5 p.m.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
That's great.
that'll be fun.
That's just a great space. That courtyard of the gallery. It's just a comfortable, good performing and gathering.
The whole place is being painted, and on the outside, we're going to do some landscaping, and then we'll move on to the inside. So we're sprucing up the old girl and looking pretty good.
I'm glad it's Yuba College. You guys, the Arts Council and has supported Yuba College throughout this whole thing, and you've brought them up twice now to show that even they have been persevering through this thing. I can't wait to see the art. That's going to be fun. That's great
James
thing.
and the theater departments kept it going with virtual programs for his students, and we're also working with Dr. Dotson at Yuba College on a major 2,000 square foot mural project on that curved wall, the side of the theater that has a sunburst sculpture that's coming down. That's going to become a mural that I think will really become the centerpiece of the campus, and that's scheduled to happen once we get submissions, probably later this summer, early September, to get that underway.
Hang on, Abby has posted a Friday 10 masked people in the gallery at a time. The courtyard will be open as well, one day only.
Good.
No, we'll be safe and sane, and we're pushing the envelope a little bit. Again, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize our good standing with the state, which provides about a third of our funding. So, speaking of funding, I've been out making the rounds with both county board of supervisors. They're now having live meetings again. They're hybrid, so you can Zoom in, but I attended both in person this last Tuesday to kind of give our annual report on what we've been doing at YubaSutterArts&Culture. And of course, we have board members from each board of supervisors. And I misspoke. Our Yuba County representative is Don Blazer. Gary Bradford's a good friend and participant in a number of our programs. He's appearing in Puffs. But Don is actually our Yuba County representative. So we also presented to the Marysville City Council. And this is all in line with what we're asked to do by the California Arts Council to keep our local governments up to date with what we're doing. And of course, to make a case for funding when they get our annual letters to ask for funding, just telling them what we do. And they're all pretty aware of how we continue to raise the aspect of arts and culture and the importance for the quality of life of residents, but as a part of economic development. So, and they more and more, I'm seeing the heads nodding, and they understand, and we're part of the conversation, I think, at a pretty high level. So, but we're pretty excited.
David. Good for you to make those breakthroughs and to with government.
Well, they've been great. Sean Harris, I'll be presenting to Sean and the Yuba City Council in a couple of weeks, and going up to Live Oak and trying to keep the murals project going there. A couple of other exciting things coming up. We're going to kick off our high school mariachi program that we got a grant for, working with music educators. We already got interest from Lyndhurst. So that's going to take off in the fall. We may do some workshops this summer. We've got a great professional mariachi performer, Miguel Figueroa from Sacramento.
It just sounds fun.
Amazing guy. I know. Good luck. Now we've got some violins and trumpets and guitars. Now we got to go out and find vihuelas and guitarrones.
How about the tuba? Are we going to bring a tuba?
Well, if we can work it into the, and maybe accordion, the Tex-Mex border music,
Mariachi music is made for the tuba, man.
Love it. Well, we're hoping it can. I want to get the Charo outfits and the whole thing. Once we have an ensemble that's, ready to put on a show, we'll take it over the finish line. So,
yes,
so that's pretty exciting.
Great. Yeah.
What else? There's so many things. Tom, you mentioned, I hate to say take it for granted, our usual monthly programming is pretty robust, thanks to Tom and what he does with the solo sessions featuring individual artists, the open mic poetry event that you host. These are all posted on our website. If you're on social media, we're pretty unavoidable. If you prefer, subscribe to our monthly newsletter. It's just go to YubaSutterArts.org and sign up. But we'll even send you a monthly postcard if you like snail mail, beautifully designed by Abby Cecina with all of our events coming up. So it's just it's like nonstop. There's no excuse to not engage with some aspect of the arts. We know not everything's for everybody, as I often say, but likely there's something that is, and we love to cross promote, just like having the acting company on today, other organizations out there doing things. Let us know. We'll include your arts and culture related flyers in our monthly e-newsletter. That's what it's all about. We got to get out of the silos and work together and really build the art and culture ecosystem, right? Am I preaching to the choir?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
right. For me and Tom, yeah.
We at the poetry thing last month, nobody came, and so I'm going to start to hustle that a little bit more, except for a published poet and a well-known poet in the Southeast. Louisiana area, Patrice Melnick. You can look her up, check her website, check her stuff on YouTube and things. So she's a heavy hitter who just, when she sees things online about open mics and poetry, she latches on. So I had no guess. I mean, I had no group. Patrice and I shared poems for like 45 minutes and became Facebook friends. And I'm going to be join her open stage or open mic on 26th of May. Dang. And so you never know. I mean, sometimes we get a nice turnout with good people. And then you think it's 15 minutes and nobody's coming. Oh, nobody likes me. And then this woman came on that just blew me away. She was delightful and funny and fast and just a great poet. Her poetry sang. And so I just wanted to mention that anecdote. We got to keep doing these things, even sometimes it looks like we're down and people have lost interest. Just keep doing it. They come back.
Yeah, I totally agree, Tom. And that's as part of our planning process later this summer for what we're going to do. The real stuff, virtual versus the virtual things we want to continue, and finding that balance. Yeah, we want real art gallery shows. We do have a live art auction underway right now to help promote visual arts. 50 pieces. Go to YubaSutterArts.org and just cruise through the live art auction offerings. You may or may not want to buy something, but enjoy some art. At least there's something there to experience. But we're going to get the galleries back open here, hopefully later this summer or this fall at the latest, and live performances. But still, just like Puffs, support the local arts organizations that are working so hard to bring some arts experiences to the community. And then you meet people from around the country like you did, Tom. That's
North Carolina.
I will be having an upcoming singer-songwriter, a young man who will be coming to me from Tokyo. He's I'll tell you more about that sometime down the road when I can work that out. But my big thing was wanting to get my friend Joe on because I've been doing this for about 5 months now, and so I'm just so happy you're going to do it. But yeah, the idea of drawing people from around the country, I don't want us to lose sight of that.
And Diane Funston does that with her monthly Poetry Square program, and so does Marcela Hernandez Castillo, who runs his monthly poetry hour, Notes from the Field, where he brings in friends and colleagues around from around the country. Joe, I got to mention one more thing.
Yeah, no worries.
This is a big one too. The press release should drop this week, and you'll be hearing a lot about this because you, meaning the community, anyone that wants to participate in this, needs a few months to get ready, and that's our film festival. I mentioned that we're working with the Chamber of Commerce to create a film commission. That's all this film is in our world these days. That's a kind of a separate project to promote professional productions to come into the community. But back here at home, we're going to sponsor a short film festival, films 13 minutes or less. And this was actually Councilman Sean Harris's idea. Came to us to help promote it and develop it and create it. And so you'll be seeing more about that. But anybody in the community, Ed Hudson, I know, is working on an animated piece.
Adrian Anderson and Jeff Martin.
Oh, beautiful!
Three that I know of, and then of course
Okay.
Matt Tomosic. You know,
words getting out there, and so there's a professional category if you earn the bulk of your living from professional film production. That's categories for you. So there'll be a student category, amateur category, and this is iPhones and full-on equipment, whatever you've got, whatever you can use, whatever ideas you can bring to this film festival. We're pretty excited about that. So we had to adjust the date because of conflicts with other things in September, but likely the festival will occur in September. So you got 3 months. You'll hear more about it this week as far as guidelines. Get out there with your cameras or iPhones and start thinking 13-minute video. Great.
There's another cool thing you're doing,
That's
Dave.
enough for now.
Yeah, that's another cool thing you've instituted. That's great. Are we done? I guess we're out of here.
Yeah, we're out of time.
We're taking Memorial Day off. We'll be back June 13th when our special guest will be Sabrina Jurisic, and she runs the Shasta Film Commission, a very successful film commission. She's the commissioner, and she's been consulting with us here for the Yuba Sutter Film Commission project. So tune in June 13th for that.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks.
Great to see you,
everybody.
Hey,
See
guys,
everybody.
take care. Have a really good Memorial Day weekend.
Yes. Sign